Some of the witnesses in the Shepherd and Mary Bushiri extradition case have made it succinctly clear that they will not make their way to Malawi to testify, even if the court in Malawi insisted they testified physically. To them, their safety and security can't be guaranteed.
The issue happened here in South Africa, so how can we just follow Bushiri wherever he is, and then while he has to be here and face his charges? We are not protected because the Bushiri is a dangerous man. I don't want to lie. He is very dangerous. So sometimes we're thinking of withdrawing the case because the case is not going anywhere. I don't think it will happen or it will ever happen.
What I've also tried to do is track some of the witnesses, which of course we had been in communication with since about 2020. And what it is right now is that they had actually told me that they would not be heading to Malawi because they cite that they fear their safety might be in jeopardy.
A South African legal expert has also raised issues about the security of the witnesses should they make their way to Malawi.
Trying to actually trigger this or push this inquiry into a sort of a trial situation where they actually want the witnesses to come and stand in the witness box in Malawi in an inquiry. Now, an inquiry is a little bit much more informal than the normal court proceedings. It's not where you have to now give evidence, you have evidence in chief, cross-examination. That's what's normally happening in trial. But it seems like they already want to use this inquiry to say, listen, look what the witness is saying, and they are not credible witnesses, and most probably they will try and bully the witnesses while they are in Malawi. We cannot guarantee, because it's out of South Africa. Malawi is a sovereign state. Can our authorities actually guarantee the safety of these witnesses? That to me is a big concern.
And so, where does this leave the 26-month-old extradition case? Well, for 2.5 years of legal discourse seasoned with semantics, it all comes down to this.
What the judge has done is he has referred the file back to the magistrate court, and they will set a date and appropriate time when the witnesses can come and testify. But now there are no exceptional reasons why they should testify in South Africa, so they must come and testify in Malawi.
The state, led by Dr. Steve Kayuni at the time, fought tooth and nail to ensure that witnesses in the Bushiri extradition case stayed in South Africa and testified in a competent court of law via video conferencing. In November last year, Chief Resident Magistrate Madalito Chimwanza ruled in favor of the state that indeed witnesses could give evidence virtually in South Africa before a competent court. But the defense, led by Wapona Kita, raised objections and decided to seek the High Court to overturn the decision of the lower court. On Monday, Judge Bruno Kalemba ruled in favor of the Bushiris that the witnesses would have to be physically present in Malawi to testify in the case. Is South Africa up for this, owing to the reasons the state assembled 2 years ago when former Director of Public Prosecutions Dr. Steve Kayuni said due to transportation, safety and security and COVID-19 issues, it will be unfair to employ witnesses in the case to Malawi.
In South Africa, we're in a third wave at the moment, and the fact that we have the Indian variant as well, that is taking its course. And for that fact, and the fact that the witnesses, for them to come here, a number of them, will really be a situation whereby their conditions, the importation in Malawi, the now and again issue of themselves getting infected. We did put that before the Honorable Court.
But in the ruling, Judge Kalemba, however, said COVID was not an issue anymore.
While the judge is saying that perhaps the reasons which were there at the time this case was commencing, like COVID, it was understood at that time that yes, maybe they could testify in South Africa. But now there are no exceptional reasons why they should testify in South Africa, so they must come and testify in Malawi.
The jury is out. Will the South African government employ witnesses, including the investigators and those who arrested the Malawian couple? Well, Shepherd Bushiri has maintained his innocence in the case and has always said he wanted to meet his accusers in court, and to him, the ruling of Judge Kalemba was welcoming.
I was in South Africa. I was attending all the courts for almost 3 years. I was going to court and we were being told excuses after excuses. I never had a trial in South Africa for almost 3 years. I appeared in the court several times, and witnesses never showed up. So when I hear what they're saying today, that witnesses cannot come, I was not surprised, not shocked. This also confirms my statement that I've been saying, that what I was passing through in South Africa was persecution, not prosecution.
What then becomes of this case that gained so much traction from the start? Has South Africa failed its people due to the hope it gave its citizens in November 2020?
Indicated in our statement that we have started the process of extraditing Bushiri back into the country using the SADC protocol of extradition between the neighboring countries, and that process commenced. One of the requirements is that we need to obtain the warrant of arrest so that it then forms the basis of applying for the extradition. So that process was started over the weekend, and we will be briefing South Africans where the process is. Confirm that we have started that process of extraditing Bushiri back into our country.
In terms of the SADC protocol, we're expected to file papers within the next 30 days to then file for the request for the formal extradition. We have set ourselves a time frame with all the law enforcement agencies to file these papers within the next 2 weeks.
Director of Public Prosecutions said these witnesses will be South African government agents who will be cross-examined as to whether the Bushiris should be extradited back to South Africa or not.
If the witnesses don't testify, and there was now an order stating by the Malawian Magistrates Court that these witnesses must come and testify, if it means then the inquiry falls flat, and then it will mean the Bushiris is successful in stopping that extradition course. If the inquiry gathers evidence and they say, but there's not sufficient evidence before us as a court to say that these people must be extradited, then they make an order that Mary and Shepherd Bushiri will not be extradited to South Africa. Then it means that the buck stops there. Then it means that the public prosecutors there needs to appeal that decision.
It's not up to the South African authorities at all to extradite him. You can request the extradition of Reverend Bushiri from Malawi, but it's up to the Malawian authorities to decide whether they're going to surrender Reverend Bushiri to the South African authorities. It's up to the Malawian authorities in terms of Malawian law to decide what to do, not up to the South African authorities at all. So we will see how the machine of justice starts working in Malawi, and Reverend Bushiri has the right to protect his own interests in terms of whatever extradition legislation Malawi has adopted domestically. Nothing to do with an extradition agreement, although an extradition agreement exists.
Bushiri and his wife Mary are wanted in South Africa on allegations of fraud and money laundering relating to an investment scheme valued at more than 100 million rands. The ECG church leaders were arrested in South Africa, but after being granted bail fled to Malawi, claiming they were not safe in South Africa. The Bushiris were released on 200,000 bail each by the Pretoria Magistrate Court on the 4th of November 2020.